This episode of Obscure Chatter is brought to you by blocking. Why engage with rage bait when you can just block? They aren't winning, your sanity is. And now, on to the episode. Oh me, oh my. Welcome to another episode of Obscure Chatter. I am your host, Terri Doty. If this is your first time listening, welcome. And if it isn't, welcome back. Thank you for returning. I've been waiting for you. Now that you're here, we can finally start. Jeez. Just the sponsor kind of spoke for itself. Just with the way it's going, there's no point. There's just no longer a point in replying to anybody that isn't already following you with anything, because there's just a 98% chance. It's like, oh, I can't wait to tell you how wrong you are, even though all the evidence says you're not. But so, just blocking. It's a wonderful thing. Already needing water. We're already saying goodbye to April. And that just feels wrong? Let's say wrong. It might just be me. A lot has happened since the last time we talked. Most of it isn't good. And I'm talking about in general. There's been some great stuff personally and professionally that's happened. But yeah, let's not pretend, I know that a lot of things are not good. You know that a lot of things are not good. So, we've got horrible people doing horrible things, and we're good people just trying to live. It's hard right now. I understand that. That said, this episode, we're going to attempt to keep it light. Notice I said attempt. Again, there's a whole mess of shit going on, and hell, if I really wanted to focus on the bad stuff going on with me, I could, but I'm gonna try not to. It's this thing I'm trying where I don't exhaust myself by thinking about things I can't control. It's a wild concept, but it works most of the time. But yeah, we could end up talking well over an hour, hour-ish, however long this ends up being. But yeah. I want to talk to you guys about things that don't suck as much as I possibly can. And hopefully, you want to stick around. So let's stick around, baby. Yeah, baby. I don't know. I've just been doing this bad, hey, sweetheart, why don't you bring that sweet ass over here for a second? Ow! Hubble. I don't know. We're trying to keep it awesome. I say we're trying to. This is just me. I had a big ass cup of coffee right before we started. So, you're welcome. Or, I'm sorry. You're welcome, sorry. There's that. Okay, so the best way, as you know, if you have listened before, the best way to start off talking about things that don't suck is talking about the media that I consumed this month since the last time we talked. And yeah, I'd love to start with music. There are obviously things that I could pick that I didn't particularly love, but let's try not to focus on that, at least right now. So the first music that I got into very much at the beginning, toward the end of March, at the beginning of April, there was just a point where Steven and I were watching The Simpsons. We watch The Simpsons in the morning. That's what we've been doing lately. We'd caught up to Bob's Burgers, and then we switched over to The Simpsons and started. I tried to start in season 1, but then I easily skipped to season 3. And now we're on season 12. But it was after we finished our Simpsons for the morning, and it got, that's when I turn off the TV and we kind of just finish our coffee and da-da-da-da-da. And then out of nowhere, This happens a lot to us as a couple, and I'm sure it happens to you guys with your family and friends as well. But I just, out of nowhere, it got really quiet. There was a nice lull. And I'm like, hey, what's that one song where it's like, turn your head now, babe, about this with me now. And he's like, I always confuse it with Soul Asylum. And right when he said Soul Asylum, I went, Collective Soul. That was just a fun little, the name of the song's called December, but yeah, like, I think even before that, but I was just like, down, dun, 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 down, dun, 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 then turn your head, just spot on, like, wow, Terry, I thought I was listening to Collective Soul. You're that good. I know. But yeah, Collective Soul, like we pulled it up on YouTube and just listened to it. Elton John, Black Box, which it's just been a nice getting ready for the day. That bum bum ow dun 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 dun. I could do this I could do this for the entire episode. You don't want me to do that, or maybe you do. But yeah, we kind of refer to me as Andy Dwyer. Not Andy Dwyer, Andy Bernard. I'm a little nard dog in the Doty house. I do a lot of read-it-do and then pull up random songs. But yeah, another one, and it's another great artist, Toni Braxton. Toni Braxton is a staple in this home. Beyonce, Kitty, which, you know what? Kitty really blew up when I was in high school. I don't think I gave Kitty a fair shot, but Steven's been listening to a lot of Kitty, so therefore I've been listening to a lot of Kitty. Great. And then it's a go-to for me, but I really like Ace of Base. I had 3 of their albums as a kid, teenager. I still sometimes grapple with calling myself a kid when I was of a teen age, but yeah. We checked out this new record shop, and I found the quintessential Ace of Base CD that I used to have with the sign, and I was so happy, so very, very happy. But yes, shows, I've really been enjoying getting back into The Daily Show, but I gotta be real, I miss a staple host. So I really only watch it on Mondays with Jon Stewart. I don't know how much longer he's going to be on there, but it's crazy to be doing Jon Stewart and John Oliver once a week. I feel like that's almost exclusively for me, but obviously it's exclusively not exclusive. Wow, caffeine. Whoo, she's something, isn't she? But yeah, so last week, tonight, Daily Show, Newsreader in that same vein. Yes, I checked it out because Sam Reed was in it. And for those of you who don't know, I'm obsessed with Interview with a Vampire, the show. And Sam plays Lestat. But also, it's him actually doing his Australian accent. But also Anna Torv, who is in another big favorite of mine, Fringe. It's about the two of them and a selection of oh my God, it's a pretty good rounded cast. But it's about them doing the news in the 80s in Australia. And it's so jarring when you've never heard someone not do an accent, they're just speaking Australian or speaking in their native accent. It's so jarring. I'm like, it's wow. That's Olivia Dunham and, Lestat. But it's not, actors. Who knew? Said the voice actor. Been revisiting Drag Race. The big one, aside from TV shows, honestly, has been going through Daredevil again. And Daredevil, I loved this show, still do. But revisiting it because, I want to catch up and watch Daredevil Reborn again. And it's been kind of a task. That's the thing with a long-running thing that's got all these interwoven parts. So I was like, okay, let's watch Daredevil Reborn again. But wait, before I jump into that, I should probably revisit stuff. And then like, oh, hell, I don't remember what order all that stuff is in because it's been a minute or 12. And then let me think. I want it to kind of all make sense. So maybe I should watch everything circling around Maddie Murdock. So it's like, okay, Daredevil season 1 is obviously the place to start. And then, oh, wait, he was in the Defenders stuff too that they tried to really hype up that more or less paid off. Like, I should also watch Jessica Jones season 1 and then go back into Daredevil season 2 and then Luke Cage season 1 and then Iron Fist season 1. And then that takes us to Defenders. And then go to Punisher season 1 and then go back to Jessica Jones season 2. And then maybe Luke Cage season 2. And then I think, I'll just skip Iron Fist season 2 altogether. And then we're into Daredevil season 3. And then Punisher season 2. And possibly Jessica Jones season 3, even though Pat's works my fucking nerves. And then Maddie's officially entering the MCU with She-Hulk. And then Kingpin made his MCU debut in Hawkeye. And Kingpin and Maddie are also in Echo. And then finally get to Reborn again. Oh, shit. So, like, running it down, like, Daredevil season 1, Jessica Jones season 1, Daredevil season 2, Luke Cage season 1, Iron Fist season 1, Defenders, Punisher season 1, Jessica Jones season 2, Luke Cage season 2, Iron Fist season 2, Daredevil season 3, Punisher season 2, Jessica Jones season 3, She-Hulk, Hawkeye, Echo, Daredevil, Reborn again. And my brain. Oh, wait, no. Should I include Spider-Man No Way Home? Because Maddie's in that. Because then I'd need to... Oh. You know what? Fuck it. It's Daredevil 1, 2, and 3, and then straight into Reborn, and y'all can shut up about it. That's where I'm at. I'm into season 2 of my rewatch, and it's got my baby. It's got Mr. Frank Castle in it. We're big... John Berthnall fans in this house, and I say we. Steven will know when John is on the screen if he is not in the room, because it's a lot of And he's not usually my type. He's just that amazing of an actor, and he's a great Frank Castle. Great Frank Castle. He's a good Punisher. He's an amazing Frank Castle. And if you know, you know. Yeah. It's been a lot of fun to do that because there's a lot of stuff I forgot. And I'm just curious for those. I know Reborn Again just finished season 1. And a bunch of shit's been spoiled for me because basically if you don't watch something within 2 hours of it being out, if you want to live off the internet, good on you. Give that a try. I can't. So I remember when people used to do edits, they used to do a spoiler and then like do a countdown. People don't do that now. So it was spoiled for me about 8 hours. A big thing in episode 1 was spoiled for me in about like 8 hours of it hitting. So, but I mean, if you read oh, I'm not going to be that. If you read the comics, it actually shouldn't shock you that, but. And then, as far as movies, I did watch Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust. Gorgeous, Gorgina film. Gorgeous film. I 100% got the hype. I liked it, but I didn't love it like I like the 85 Vampire Hunter D, which I think might be an opinion in the minority. A lot of people, I think, favor Bloodlust. Bloodlust, gorgeous animation. But the beginning of, or on the 13th of April, I went to the theaters and saw a remastered version of the 85 Vampire Hunter D. Holy fuck. Just the detail, like, it's great. It's really, really great. And I'm glad Sentai and a bunch of other people were lovely enough to re-release. It was great. And also the audience. I know that we've all been having our little run-ins with not so great audience experiences in theaters. I know I have. I've seen someone straight up working on their laptop in the theater. I've seen a chick buying lingerie on her iPad. You know, when I was a senior copywriter for an ad place, I legit bought out an entire row. I think with the exception of like 2 seats at the end for Multiverse of Madness, so people would leave me the fuck alone. So yeah, it's hit or miss. What Steven and I did is, you know, it wasn't showing immediately close to us. We went to the Grapevine Mills Theater, AMC, which I hadn't been there in forever because I don't really go to the mall anymore, and I especially don't go to one that's not very close to me. But we made it a day of it, drove there, parked far, made my ass walk, always trying to walk and get my steps in. And I was like, let's a day date. Let's do the drinks and the popcorn and spend like $32 on 2 drinks of popcorn and some donut holes. I know, it was quite a deal. I know. I'm with you too. Wow, so cheap. And the movie started at 4, so we didn't get our stuff. Like, we got there, like, at 3:55. But with the wait and, like, 2 people working, it took them, like, 10 minutes to get our stuff. And when we walked in, the movie was already starting. Like, oh, shit! I was so accustomed to, you know, the 20 to 30 minutes you wait. And you would think that because the movie isn't, you know, like an actual theatrical release of like a new movie, that they wouldn't do this. I thought that with The Crow, but I still sat through like 30 minutes of special features and trailers when we saw The Crow anniversary thing a few months back. So I did the plan where I'm like, oh, you know, we'll get there like as the trailers are starting, instead of me sitting there a good 10 to 20 minutes before the trailers even start, and then sitting there for another 20 to 30 minutes before the movie actually fucking starts. No, the movie was starting. Like, oh shit. Sat down. Everybody was quiet. We all laughed at the right parts and, you know, da-da-da. Like, it was a great movie experience. And I just wasn't used to everyone just shutting the fuck up. It's amazing. So we got out, and just kind of like occasionally whispering to ourselves, like as the movie was going, like, holy fuck, this looks so fucking good. This looks so good. It was the Japanese language, which this might shock some people, but if you're a longtime follower of me and someone that's met me at cons or just listen to the podcast, I do subtitles and I do dubs. It doesn't matter to me. It's just typically however it's available to me, that's how I'll watch it. Now, I will say, yeah, if it's a show with a lot of action, it is really distracting to me to, you know, look down as the action is happening. That's just me. But gorgeous. I'm so glad. It was like an event for me. I'm so glad I got to see this in theaters. Like, there are other things that are hitting theaters and I can't wait. Like, I had mentioned this on my socials, but Dogma is getting re-released officially. And I messaged the friend that I skipped class with in high school. We skipped out to go to the Six Flags Mall, which is not there anymore. Remember, I grew up in Arlington. We skipped school to go see Dogma, only for them to be like, yeah, the movie was pulled. Da-da-da. Like, fuck. So we ended up just going to Claire's and getting our cartilages pierced. Mine got infected. It was super fun. But I messaged her. I'm like, do you remember when we tried to see this movie in theaters? She's like, holy shit. But it's getting re-released. It's doing a big special thing in May and then doing a wider release in June. I own this on VHS. It was in ownership limbo because of Harvey Heinstein. I don't know. Harvey Weinstein had the rights. Kevin finally got them back. And now we all get to enjoy it. And I want to see it in theaters the way, I think sophomore in high school, Terri, might have been sophomore or junior me, that really tried to see it. And that would be fun. But yeah, I imagine a lot of people with Vampire Hunter D kind of felt that same way. Like, oh, cool. I get to finally see this in theaters. And I know a lot of people had a lot of feelings about it because, it's the after movie thing where you kind of haul it to the bathroom. So there hopefully isn't a line. I leave Steven typically. I'm like, all right. And we meet each other in the hall. That's the way it's always been. I know, not like here's my secret, guys. But as I came out, Steven was staring at this group of guys that were kind of circled around this girl. And I'm like, what's up? And he's like, I don't know. And what was happening is this girl was like, all of these people were in the theaters with us. And this girl apparently fell asleep. She fell asleep during the movie, which, you know what? Hey, go you, babe, because I think a drooler and kind of snorer when I'm sat upright. But who knows why she fell asleep? But it was this one guy berating her for falling asleep, for having the audacity to fall asleep during the movie. And you know what? It happens. I don't, I kind of talk about how the beginning of this show started with kind of the memory of sharing a movie that I loved with somebody that completely shit on it. I don't know if you can blame if you could put falling asleep in that same category. But yeah, it's just, she was the only girl in this group and everybody was kind of shaming her for falling asleep. And she tried to just kind of blow it off and they're like, no, da-da-da-da-da. This is a very important movie and you should have known better. And, if you were going to be tired, you shouldn't have come. Guys, I love movies, but, damn, I kind of went to Steven. I'm like, did we say anything? He's like, do you want to get involved? I'm like, kinda. He's not she could just hopefully never see these people again. And we're like, hopefully, but literally none of her friends helped her out. I don't know any more info about it, but it just seemed really shitty to do. We talked about that more on the way home than we did Vampire Hunter D. So guys, check yourself. It was just a little bananas. Let's see. As far as books, I've been revisiting a lot of books, but the big ones, it's a two-parter duet series, called Dread Nation by Justina Ireland. And the follow-up book was Deathless Divide. And these are great, books, if you like action, if you like momentum, you really can't take a breath. Strong female, very complex leads. It's about this chick Jane and her friend / frenemy Catherine, and it's basically, hey, what if zombies happened during the Civil War? And obviously there are huge themes of internalized bias and racism and solidarity, and just a big social commentary too. I really liked book 1. Book 2 I felt wasn't as strong, but I think it was a decent conclusion. And yeah, it's a pretty authentic experience. But yeah, it's YA, historical fantasy, and really good world building. It can be a rough read, though. I think just giving you the little bit that I did should have been Terri. But yeah, and then aside from that, I've been reading more from Emily Antoinette, which I'd mentioned previously with her book Man-Eater, but I've been reading more from the Moonveil series. I just finished A Guide to Ghosting. about a girl being dead, and that not stopping her from hooking up, falling in love. Why not? But I also, read A Fragile Enchantment by Alison Saft. I finished that yesterday, and that was a cute little fantasy read, about kingdoms and people with magic and how that magic manifests and all that. You can give that a shot if you like, but yeah. I think that was mostly things that didn't suck, aside from some very bad friends at Vampire Hunter D. I'm trying to think, honestly, have I fallen asleep? I fell asleep, I had just gotten into Austin to see my boyfriend at the time. And, he was sharing a giant house with 5 other people. And one of them was a new roommate who, he really wanted to show us Spaced. I had driven to Austin. That's a 2.5, 3 hour drive. And we went to dinner immediately. We'd done this. Some of us had been drinking. By the time we got in and we were all just hanging out, I was fucking wrecked, tired. But the roommate, I forget his name, really wanted to show us Spaced. And I fell asleep during the first episode. Matthew woke me up. He's like, why don't you go to bed? And it was kind of why don't you go to bed? Am I being rude? Or I was fine with just staying there, but and lo and behold, years later, I got really into Spaced. I was just fucking tired. God. Time's fun. And, I don't hang out with any of those people anymore. All because of that moment. No, not because of that at all. But, I can't think of another instance where it's you embarrassed me and you embarrassed yourself. How dare you besmirch D this way? This is a little intense for asleep during a movie. I don't know if it was a date or a group activity or whatever, but either way, man. Again, I have no information, but just from an outsider perspective, it just looked like look here, you stupid woman. This is why women shouldn't ever be involved in anime type of interaction. And maybe that's me pulling from some of my personal experiences with that. But I just didn't like these people. They were being so mean to just a sleepy lady. Yeah. So, anyways, as I mentioned in the last episode, and if you've been keeping up with me, I had a birthday a couple weeks ago. I feel in no way different. You remember that? I can't believe today is my birthday. That has never been the case for me. I think once I hit double digits, it was very much guys, I usually had my birthday kind of center around trying to not interfere with an Easter holiday celebration or anything like that. Didn't have a lot of friends show up on some of them. But then, looking back, seeing photos, I'm like, oh my God, I used to have I had a McDonald's party. I don't want to brag, but it was before those packages were almost $2,000. I looked that up because they're bringing them back. I'm like, Jesus, I'm pretty sure my parents did not pay for that. But yeah, so I don't know. This one, I try to celebrate the 5s and the 10s, but still do something because, you're not guaranteed any amount of years in this life. But I did have a weird moment where I was talking to Stephen about my dad. And I've just always kind of talked about how weird it's going to be once I'm the age he was when he passed. And I was just like, yeah, it's going to happen next year, da-da-da-da-da. And then in the middle of talking, I'm like, no, that's this year. Oh my God, I'm the age my dad was when he passed away. And I don't know, maybe it'll feel even weirder next year when I'm officially older than he will have ever been in his life. But it's also I don't know, at 41, he had 2 kids, 2 stepkids. He worked in the federal government, or federal prison, which I guess is the same thing. I don't know. Don't correct me. I don't care. And just, he had a house, he had a dog, and just all this stuff. And 41 just seemed so ancient to me. And I was 19 when he passed. And now it's like, wow. I don't think I just can't see myself at this age right now having a 19-year-old. It's just a little wild. And his birthday was on the 18th, and he would have been 63 this year. I'm like, I can't imagine what he would have been doing and been up to at this age. But that's again time, life, death, interesting. But I kept it pretty chill. And I think that was important. I think in the past, I've definitely put a lot of pressure on having a good birthday. And there are circumstances that I can't control where I was like, please don't let this happen. Please don't let this person reach out. Please da 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 da. And none of that happened. It was a great day. I just wanted to do I wanted to go do something big last year for my 40th, but money's a thing. And I just didn't want us to spend too much. Like for Steven's 40th, I took him to New York and I took him first class, baby. And it was so much fun. It was so much fun. So I think he very much hyped himself up and wanting to do this big thing, but we just had a little more money at the time. And also flying wasn't terrifying the way it kind of is now. In a different way. If you know, you know. And if you don't, how do you not know? But, yeah, he was gonna put all these reservations down for this thing. A couple of things. I'm not gonna say it because then they possibly won't happen. But, I was like, nah, let's just chill. And I wanted to thrift for the week. And we did. And we kind of did the same thing where we just thrifted for the day. Woke up. He made me, I really love Steven's breakfast tacos. He made me breakfast tacos and it loaded us up for the fucking day. He got my favorite flour tortillas, which are from Rosa's Tortilla Factory. I love making tortillas too, but I just like them because they're pretty decently priced to just go to Rosa's. My go-to order at Rosa's Tortilla Factory is a pint of beans, a pint of rice, and a dozen tortillas. And that is 4 meals right there. That's 4 meals. It's wonderful. And it costs, I think, about $12 for all of that. It's my go-to meal. It's vegetarian, but they've also got really yummy chocolate cake and carrot cake. So that, I think, with those things, you'll still spend under $20. But I had Steven just get the stuff the day prior and woke up to some good breakfast tacos. And then we were full for most of the day. And I went to some of my favorite local places in the Mid-Cities area. Went to Little Plank Vintage in Hearst, Horror Freak in Bedford, Movie Trading Company in Hearst, which, not really a thrift shop, but they've got really good deals. And we found some great horror flicks and a couple video games. Great. It's really hard to find Halloween 4 and 5. I really like them, and I found them on DVD pretty decently priced. Checked out Alice Bowie in, I believe, Hearst. Great vintage shop off of Bedford Euless Road. I think everybody should check it out. It's got especially if you're more into the vintage look, but she's got some really cool stuff too. Modern stuff, and I think decently priced. Some of it's going to be a little more pricey, but again, you have to remember this is retro. Retro stuff's always going to be a little more because if it was taken care of, it's worth it. And then Rag & Bones, which is in the same little complex as Little Plank Vintage. Finally checked it out. Great selection of CDs and vinyl. Also, they had CD players, tape players. I found a couple t-shirts, like a Nirvana shirt, a Selena shirt. I did find a stereo that I tried to get, but it ended up not working. But they were totally understanding about it. They're like, oh, cool. Like, let's figure this out. Heather, I think, is the owner, and you should check it out again. Definitely check it out again. But yeah. And aside from breakfast tacos, my only requests were to get the chicken Caesar salad. Steven makes a really awesome Caesar dressing himself, and that's what I wanted. So got that and got a little strawberry cake. Strawberry cake is fun. And he got me this funky little knife. I don't know if I've ever talked about that, but I collect knives and straight razors, a bunch of stuff all the time, and I love them. Could I tell you why? No. Do I want to overthink why? No, I don't. Maybe it's probably something scary. Maybe, maybe not. But yeah. And then I guess I've been doing a lot of like little sales and stuff. There was the library sale local to me and an estate sale that I ran into. And the library sale is all about getting up early and circling, taking your time. I found most of the Foundation series by Isaac Asimov and a bunch of DVDs. What I really hate, and I'm getting sick of, and this is, I guess, a bit in the kind of sucks category, is I am not into resellers just fucking spending their whole day just holed up in a corner. And this dude brought this giant like crate with wheels, and just kept snapping the ISBN codes and like checking prices and then like throwing stuff in. I'm like, motherfucker, this is a library sale. Like, just a lot of people donate stuff to the library knowing they're going to sell it. I think it's gross. But yeah, I had to be a little squirrely about like just grabbing some stuff. Found a Buffy compendium for 75 cents of the comics that are hit or miss, but I like having them because I'm a Buffy fan. And then Stephen went hunting that day, so I happened to just know that a neighborhood was doing an estate sale. Estate sales are an interesting thing because you're going into not your house. It's a garage sale with your house, which the prices might be a little more da-da-da-da-da. But it was off a street that, I walk by all the time and walk through, and pulled up, and it was pretty empty for like day 2 of an estate sale. I'm like, oh, they probably don't have that much left, but let's see what's there. And I got into a room. It was a very different house than mine. It was a more modern house. It got built, I think, at least 20 years later than where my house is. Still in walking distance, but still. But I got into this room that was poorly lit, virtually untouched, and it was nothing but CDs. Alphabetically ordered. It was pretty sexy. I was trying to be respectful of the house. I used to be very anti, like, oh, I don't think ghosts are real. Motherfucker, I've had some stuff happen since then. I'm just trying to be respectful of somebody's house. So I'm going through stuff and I'm alone. So I'm like, wow, you really loved music. And just being like, oh, wow, I can't believe you have that. I love this CD. And there was a little note that's like, yeah, all the CDs are $3. And like, I've got like $16 on me. I'll probably be okay. But I kept finding stuff. I'm like, I ran in, or somebody finally came and checked on me. I'm like, are you guys taking credit cards? And they're like, we can always do Zelle. Zelle, it stresses me the fuck out. Like, guys, you can charge me more, like, if you just let me do the card, or I will come back with cash. But I found a bunch of Alice in Chains. I found I'd lost my Linkin Park Hybrid Theory, and that was the last Linkin Park CD I needed. I found that. Oh, God. A lot of my dad's CDs, I say a lot, when I first moved back after dealing with my dad's estate, I got all his CDs. Someone broke into my truck and stole all his CDs. So there are CDs that I never would have bought, but they remind me of my dad, and Stained was one of them. He had some Chevelle, but I couldn't vibe with it. But I found like 8 CDs. Then I found all these notebooks that had never been used. I'm a notebook whore. Quote me on that. But I'm like, okay, I don't know how much all of this is going to be, because she doesn't really, the chick that I saw at the front, she doesn't really have prices on anything other than the CDs in this house. So I walked downstairs and I'm like, all right, cool. She got me a box and I threw everything in, and she went, $30? I'm like, yeah, that's totally fine. Do you take cards? She's like, I can do Zelle. I'm like, if you tell me how to use Zelle, I will happily pay you $30. I just don't know how, and I only have a few bucks cash. And we kind of looked at the box, and she went, okay. And I went, I have $16. And she looked at the box again. She goes, yeah, I'll do 16. I'm like, are you sure? She's like, yeah, I want it all out. Like, all right, well, and gave her the cash. Like, thank you. She's like, thank you. And just kind of like got into my car, like, wow. And thanked the neighbor that is no longer there again. It was wonderful. Thank you, sir. It was a guy, I think it was a single guy that lived there. It just, a lot of the energy read single man. And I heard some people talking about, I didn't ask questions or whatever. And, it's a cute little house, but I'm very grateful to that guy because it was fun. I found some stuff for Steven, and I forget what else I got. But yeah, I could have gotten more if I'd known that she was going to be so amenable to just getting stuff out, but then I would have felt bad. I could have gone there with more cash or with knowledge of how Zelle worked. So grateful to what I found, but yeah. And that's Terri thrifting in a nutshell. It's going, oh God, I have this. God, I hope they let me take it. If I give them some money, I hope they'll let me take it. But yeah, found some good stuff on my birthday and It's just been a cute little like thrifty moment. And when I don't have to buy new and go into places like the mall or taking a chance online, it's the best. And as far as that, I've been very, very lucky recently. I've been getting a lot of auditions, which those have been ebbing and flowing like nobody's business lately. And yeah, just very happy to just have chances, because that's the job. I've told a lot of people this, but auditioning is the job. Booking is the gift. And then you just keep auditioning. I do have a couple of things that I can't talk about. I'm pretty sure the day after I do this that I'll be able to talk about it. But there is one show coming up, and I'm excited about it because I like working. I know. I'm kind of weird that way. But yeah, aside from that, I kept toying with what I wasn't going to talk about. There has been some heavy stuff, but oddly, Steven and I got into this weird headspace, kind of going on just these little tangents for like a good week after Val Kilmer's passing. And, it's just one of those things, I'm not, I don't think I have parasocial relationships with really anybody. I'm probably wrong though, but Val wasn't one of those people. I just, I grew up watching his films. Big ones that, oh my God, I always thought he was so charming in Real Genius, which I don't think is like a take. 1985's Real Genius. I don't think like being like, oh my God, he's so a cocky, smart person. Yes, please. As I look at my husband. And then Top Gun, which that's always a difficult character to play, is kind of just an unlikable person that you actually get why they're that way. I don't know. But yeah, as a kid watching that, I'm like, I do not like this guy. He's being really mean to Maverick. But a big one, and my obsession is Val Kilmer in Willow, which I didn't really clock how young Warwick Davis was in Willow, but he was like 17 or 18. Don't quote me on that, but he was young. And I think his wife was actually almost in her 40s. But, oh my God, just playing that kind of character, he just rocked it. He rocked it so much. The big one that I remember, and I think a lot of us quoted, kind of just reflecting on his stuff, is Tombstone as Doc Holliday. Even as a kid, because that came out in like 93. That was a big deal. Like, I don't know. I didn't get things that like adults watching it were laughing at, or because it was all about the wordplay. He was chewing up the scenery like a motherfucker, and we were just all living for it. But he was so good in it. Obviously, that's not like a wild take. But and then there are movies. I never got around to seeing his 2021 Val documentary, just because I couldn't bring myself to watch it. It was hitting too close to home with what was going on personally with some family members. And then it just kind of, there's so much to consume. It just kind of fell out of my Rolodex of, hey, you should watch this. I don't know if I could watch it now. But yeah. And then I rarely buy movies that I've never seen. Kind of with books now too. Like, I'll digitally borrow something, or even like take a chance and buy like something for my e-reader. But it takes a lot for me to physically buy something that I don't already like and add to my shelf. It's something that's only happened recently. But I bought Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. One of my oldest friends was obsessed with it. She would quote it and like show me little clips here and there. I found it at a library sale, I think in October, and I bought it because I really, really wanted to see it. And I still haven't gotten around to it, but I have it, and the clips that I've seen, he's stellar, so gotta watch it. Heat. I've never seen Heat. And that's like a big deal to a lot of people. But 95's Heat, never saw it. The big one where Steven was like, you haven't seen that. What is 1991's The Doors? And yeah, Steven's a big fan of it. He's also a big fan of The Doors. So, just kind of explained like, yeah, I was pretty young when it came out. And it just, to me at the time, forgive me, as a kid, it just looked like a boring drama. Like, I didn't get the significance of it. And seeing clips now and the vocals he did, like, I get it. Like, what was it? Like, that was the big thing that I saw about The Doors that I hadn't heard until after Val passed away, is that he did his own singing while playing Jim, and even the real members said they had difficulty distinguishing Val's voice from Jim's. But what was it that the director was like, yeah, we're not gonna let you be be the vocals on this. And Val was like, all right, I want to make a deal with you. I'm going to sing some stuff, and then you're going to play Jim next to my stuff, and you're not going to know whose is whose. And if you can't tell me whose voice is whose, then you let me do the vocals. And I think that's how he won it over. Don't quote me on that, but I could have sworn I read something about it. That's something to commit to, but not commit to during your talk show, right? But yeah, there's so much more I can talk about, and there's a lot of unpleasantness that like I had notes to like, hey, maybe talk about this. And I like even wrote out like, go into detail about this, but I just didn't have it in me to talk about it this episode. I'm, doing what I can behind the scenes, to help causes that are near and dear to me. And also just very like causes, like, hey, so trans people are people, and the people of Gaza should be able to have access to water and food and medical aid and all that stuff. But I don't know why that's a concept for people. I don't care that Katy Perry thinks that she's an astronaut. Don't care about that. Like, I told you, I didn't want to talk about stuff that sucks. I'd say that if that's something you want me to expand on, please send us a message at obscurechatter@gmail.com, and I will take it under advisement. Thank you guys so much for the messages you guys sent me regarding my little chat about the doctors. I had discussed it. I won't discuss it right now. There are a few updates. None of them are good. So that was one of the bigger things. I'm like, I could go on for 2 hours about this, but I don't want to, because Obscure Chatter at its heart is supposed to be us hanging out and talking, having a coffee together. Not, oh God, we're going to need something stronger if I'm going to talk about that. Again, I still don't, still not drinking, so no. We could talk about that at another point. I will give y'all an update next time. Hopefully a better one than the one I currently have. But yeah, there was somehow too much and not enough going on. And, again, then there's the matter of the world being more on fire, which I didn't miss thinking about at all while getting to chat with you guys. You guys are amazing that way, which I appreciate. But I really do appreciate you guys continuing to listen and engage with Obscure Chatter. And I love y'all's feedback. Thank you so much. It's nice to hear from you guys. We're still on Blue Sky, kind of active on X, but more on Blue Sky. And you can always reach me through all my socials, Terri Doty, TEEDOTALLY, at pretty much everywhere. Even Tumblr. I'm still on Tumblr. Although I think I'm like Teedotally OG or something in that, because it wouldn't let me access my old account. Haha. But yeah, 2025 continues to be weird in the not fun way. And we'll continue to try to be weird in the fun way most of the time. Okay, and remember that you can check out Obscure Chatter and TAS Rewind, for those of you that just listen to it exclusively through us, through obscurechatter.com, Apple, iHeartRadio, Spotify, YouTube, Audible, and Amazon Music. I think there are a few others, but I can't recall them right now. I hope that you've enjoyed this episode. Until next time, what do? We're going to read good shit. We're going to watch good shit. We're going to listen to good shit. You're not going to be a shit, and you're going to call people on their shit like the amazing badass you are. You'll hear from me at the end of May. Until then, hasta pasta.